Obsidian is easily one of the best note-taking apps available, but it comes with a major catch. It's built as a desktop and mobile application. That means if you're on a lockdown work laptop, a Chromebook, or a shared computer where you can't install software, you're usually completely locked out of your second brain. In today's video, we're fixing that entirely. I'm going to show you how to run a full-fledged Obsidian notebook inside of a Docker container using the official Linux server Obsidian image. By the end of this guide, you'll be able to open your web browser, go to your own personal URL, and access your notebook from anywhere in the world. Let's get into it. All right. Now that we have our LXC container spun up and we're running Ubuntu with Docker, everything is ready to go. So let's build our compose file. So first things first, I have a new directory that's already installed called Obsidian. So I'm just going to change over to it. And then I'm going to create my Docker compose file. I'll leave the configuration in the description for everybody to use. But when I paste this in here, let's break down what's going on. The first thing we're doing is we're setting up our container called Obsidian. And right here, we're pulling our image. And this is the official image for Obsidian from the Linux server. This image gives us a lightweight desktop environment streamed straight to the web. The next thing we're doing is we're setting a couple environmental variables. We're using the user ID, the group ID, our time zone, and right here I have a custom user and a custom password to lock down the notebook. So if anybody out there tries to access it, they'd have to authenticate first. The next part is the volumes that we're going to be using. You can see I have our config volume and our vaults volume, and these are just writing back to folders that are going to be directly on the LXC container. And the last portion are the two ports that we're going to be opening for the container itself. So let's go ahead and save this, and we'll close out. The next thing we're going to do is start the container in detached mode. And that just means that we're not going to see all of the logs streaming on the screen. So we're just going to type in docker-compose. We're going to say we want the container to come up. And we're going to put a -D. That's that detached flag. Now I've already pulled this image, so everything is going to go a lot faster than when you do it, but expect a couple minute wait while it downloads the image and spins it up for you. And as you can see, our container has started and we should be good to go. Now I did forget to mention, there is one quick gotcha. Because we're using local folders on the host and pushing them out to our container, we need to allow the container to write back to the host itself. So there's two commands we're going to run. The first is we're going to change the owner of the vaults folder and the config folder. And the second is we're going to lock down who has the ability to read, write, and execute into those. And again, I'll paste these commands into the description. So I'm just going to paste these two commands and make sure that they run fine. And then we're going to move over to our web browser and take a look. Now, before I started this process, I created my own DNS entry for obsidian.techsimpld.com, and I pointed it to our LXC container IP address and the port that we were using. So if we go to our browser and we type in obsidian.techsimpld.com, we're getting asked for the username and password, which is a good sign. So we'll type in that username and password that we set in our Docker compose file, and here we are. We are in our Obsidian notebook on the web, which is running out of that container. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new vault. And right here, I have the vault name of TechSimpld. And if I browse where I want to put it, this is the part that's a little difficult sometimes. We're going to pick other locations. We're going to pick the computer. And we're going to pick the vaults folder. Now, if you remember before, we had to run that command to change the owner of the vaults folder, as well as set the execution policy on it. If you don't do that, when you try to create this notebook, it's going to give you an error. But since we did everything correctly, I should be able to hit create here. And here we go. We're in our vault. And that's it. You can access this from any computer, from your mobile browser, from a Chromebook, from your lockdown computer at work. And all you have to do is go to the DNS site that you set up. Now, there are some important things that we're going to need to make sure that we take care of. The first being persistence of all the folders in your notebook itself. What I mean by that is, if we go back to our host where Obsidian is running, and we look at the working directory, we're in the Obsidian folder. And if we just print out what's in this folder, you'll see we have our config folder and our vaults folder. And we're going to want to make sure that we back this up somehow. This is where all of your information is going to live. So if something happens to this container, the LXC container, you're going to want to make sure you have a backup of all the data that you've been writing in here. Otherwise, it's all gone. I'll go over it in another video, but all of my LXCs are automatically backed up by Proxmox backup server, so I don't have to worry about it. And just like that, you have a fully functional, self-hosted Obsidian instance accessible from any browser on your network. And if you pair this with a Cloudflare Zero Trust tunnel like I did, you turn it into an unstoppable setup you can reach from anywhere in the world. Your notes stay centralized on your home server, your configuration is persistent, and you never have to ask IT for an app install on your work laptop again. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned something new, please leave a comment, hit that thumbs up button, or consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me get this information in front of other people who may be looking for it. I'm TechSimpld, and I'll see you in the next one.